impossible to tell the full story of Petaluma history without including all of the people who shaped our city, which is why we're pleased to present Petaluma Chinatown Unearthed, Remembering the Past for a Better Future, and Chinese Pioneers, Power and Politics in Exclusion Era Photographs. Together, they present a history of the social, political, and judicial disenfranchisement of Chinese Californians, as well as moments of Chinese agency and resilience in the decades before and after the Chinese Exclusion Acts of the late 1800s. These exhibits are presented in partnership with the Petaluma Old Chinatown Memorial Park Ad Hoc Committee under the leadership of Lena Hoshino, who has worked tirelessly to make sure that Petaluma's residents of Chinese descent, most of whom were sadly driven out by pernicious anti-Chinese movements, are not forgotten. Their legacies live on through the maps and historical records and the many amazing artifacts that you'll see on display in this exhibit. Many of these artifacts are being shown for the first time. Their legacies live on through these things that are at the heart of this exhibit, as well as, just as importantly, their memories being carried forward by today's vibrant AAPI community who are working to shed light on this too often overlooked chapter of Petaluma's history. I'd like to thank our local sponsors for helping to bring these exhibits to you. First and foremost, our partner in all that we do, the City of Petaluma, the Asian American Alliance of Marin, the Asian American Pacific Islander Coalition of the North Bay, the Japanese American Citizens League, Dale Minami, NBC Bay Area, Von Chan DDS, Frank Chong, and the Petaluma River Park Foundation. Thank you all so much for making it possible to bring these important stories to the community. Chinese Pioneers is an exhibit by the California Historical Society and tours through Exhibit Envoy with institutional support provided by San Francisco Grants for the Arts and the Yerba Buena Community Benefit District. We have many incredible programs lined up for the run of this exhibit, which is through June 8th. So there's lots of opportunities to engage. We have an amazing spoken word and jazz performance next Saturday, the 26th, a Chinese calligraphy workshop, a walking tour of Petaluma's historic Chinatown, just to name a few. So please do check our website. If you're not yet a member, please become a member so you can stay up to date on all of the amazing events that we have planned for these exhibits. Now, I'd like to hand the mic over to Mayor Kevin McDonald and City Manager Peggy Flynn.
Thank you. Don't point at the speaker.
Better on this side?
Yes.
Welcome everybody. The City of Petaluma is really proud to be part of this, all the work involved. And you know, it's a great day for the museum. It's another great show that we're connecting with the community on. And so I hope you're all members. And if you're not members, there's a way to do that before you leave tonight. And what a gem our museum is. But not all gems are always out in front for everyone to see in their finely polished condition. Like this exhibit unearths, and that's the key word here, things that the spotlight hasn't been on. And so this spotlight's on the contributions of Chinese workers in our town. And the history is not, any history is not complete without elevating this history. And so we're really proud to be partners on that. These workers help create wealth in our community, and yet we're treated badly in our community. And frankly, treated badly individually and by history in general. And so today's a great day for that. So I just want to offer thanks to those who helped pull this together and shone a spotlight on it. The city cannot do everything. We count on volunteer participation. We count on motivated people who want to tell the story and not tell the old story, but tell the real story. And so it's super important that we have Lena and the Asian American Pacific Islanders group to help us realize the story that is Petaluma. So thank you very much for having me, and great exhibit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor McDonald. Now I'd like to welcome Lena Hoshino officially. She's an award-winning journalist, filmmaker. Her works include Leap of Faith, How Enmanji Temple Was Saved, Caught in Between, What to Call Home in Times of War, In God's House, Asian American Lesbian and Gay Families in the Church, and Belonging, a documentary series that explores the journey of 3 first-generation Asian American women. Her storytelling style engages audiences with complex or contentious issues through her narrator's experiences and her visual style. Lena's father is from Japan and her mother is from Taiwan. She grew up in the US, Japan, and France, studied at Carnegie Mellon, and she is known by many of us locally as the founder and former owner of the beloved Petaluma Pie Company. And I would just like to personally thank Lena for all of the work she's done. We've been working on this exhibit collaboratively, but Lena is certainly taking the lead with the ad hoc committee for more than a year now, I think. And it's just amazing to see this all come to fruition thanks to her hard work and the work of others who really were so committed to bringing these stories to light that this would not have happened without her. So I'd like to introduce Lena.
Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to see friends and folks from the city, and this is like a dream come true for me. It's been in my head for 15 years since we first opened the pie shop, and archaeologist Bill Roop walked in. He had an office across the way, and he said, "Did you know there was a Chinatown?" And, you know, of course, when you're running a bakery, you don't really have time to pursue it. But when the pandemic happened, I felt like we need to get to the root of this. And that's when I started looking into the newspapers and old history. And it's wonderful to see it come to fruition like this. So thank you so much for the opportunity. And Stacy's been wonderful to work with. I mean, so the Bill Roop who dug up the theater district just donated all these artifacts that had been sitting in storage for 30 years. So it had not been out in the open for a long time. And those objects, they're not worth any money, but they tell these really poignant stories. So to me, it's really powerful. And one of the few evidences that we have outside of newspaper articles that are written. I mean, there's tons of articles written about Chinese people, I tell you, and not in a good way. In fact, I almost thought about doing an exhibit just on that. Anyway, I wanted to thank everybody for, before I forget. And I wanted to point out that these things that were dusty in boxes, Stacy pulled them out, and we were all wondering, what the heck are we going to do with these? She made them beautiful. I mean, it's just wonderful the way you did that. And also, in addition, Grant Din, who has been an expert genealogist and historian, Chinese American historian in Angel Island, worked on the Angel Island Research Center. He has come here to, where are you? There you are, raise your hand. I called him this morning to go over the panel and make sure it looks all right, so I had, and I have a friend in Hawaii who, we worked remotely. I mean, there are so many people who are really interested in this history because it's not about geography, it's about this connection. This is my grandfather's story, this is my great-grandfather's story. That's what it was for folks. And in fact, I got a haircut the other day, and I go to Super Cut, okay? I get great haircuts there, I think they're great. The guy I get a haircut from all the time, he's not Asian, but I was telling him about this exhibit. And I told him that these are stories of workers who really helped shape Petaluma for what it is today, and it was forgotten. So this exhibit is about telling that story. We don't know who they were, but they were so critical in building the Petaluma that we know today. And it touched him. He said, I had a shiver down my back. That's my family story. That is my family working in the agriculture in Northern California, not being recognized for the work that they did to contribute. So this is, to me, it's not just about Chinese Americans. or Chinese immigrants. It's about all the people who are forgotten, and they're making contributions every day. So I had a prepared speech, but am I going off? I think I said everything I wanted to say, but I do want to thank everybody who was involved. I see a lot of faces of people. People had wonderful conversations. Frankie, gosh, sorry, he wrote this amazing narrative, heartfelt narrative about these objects. You know, I just gave him a big pile of files, and then he said, write about them. And so, you know, it takes a heart to do that, to understand objects from a human perspective. So, and who else have I forgotten? Angelo, my husband, who I've been ignoring for the past 3 or 4 months or so. He's been in the background. But I pull him in for feedback at, you know, when he's very tired, and he was very patient. So thank you, taking care of our dogs. All that. Yeah, so enjoy. Please, you know, Stacy, take one of these. There's a lot of exciting events coming up, and this museum needs to be supported, so definitely sign up or donate generously, so we can have more events like this happen. All right, thank you.